Hey everyone, Tom here from Pizarro's Pieces, and this is the first video of my 2-week toy hunt in the United States of America. Everyone, welcome back. Now, if you follow me on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, you would know that I've just recently returned from the United States of America, where I'd gone on a literally 2-week holiday, which 80% of that revolved around toy hunting or toy game, memorabilia hunting in the US. So I planned this trip last June in 2016, and there was, took a lot of planning. So I ended up going to 5 areas across 3 different states or counties, sorry. So I flew to Chicago, where I spent 3 nights. I went from there to Indianapolis for 3 nights, on to Cincinnati, then on to Columbus, and I ended up finishing in Cleveland. So over the period of the 2 weeks, I've accumulated quite a lot of footage from toy hunting in some of the shops. I attended a Comic-Con while I was over there, and I attended a big toy show literally the day before I flew home back to the UK. So I'm going to be doing small videos and showing you guys what sort of stuff the shops keep over there, what I picked up as well while I was over there in each particular shop or at the show, etc. I'll talk to you about some of the pricing and the pricing structure over there. So this video, the first video, I'm obviously going to start in the timeline of how I done it. So I started in Chicago. I got into Chicago this was on the Monday, about 11, 12, might have been 11 in the morning. And the first thing I thought to do was to just go out and, I knew, I'd already done my research, so I knew that Chicago had about half a dozen good vintage toy shops. Also, I knew they had good record shops and things like that, so I was ready to go out and explore. So the first place I went to was a toy shop that I follow on Instagram called Toy De Jour. So I literally had to just get on the metro. Chicago, I've got like a metro system, like a train, sort of not too dissimilar to the Underground, a little bit more confusing for me. So I knew about this shop through Instagram. I knew that they sold, He-Man, Marvel, Transformers, Godzilla stuff. So I knew that I'd probably find a few bits there. So here's a little bit of footage of me walking about in the shop, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what I found. Have a look. Apologies for some of the shaky footage, and also my chin you can see a few times. Apologies for that as well.
Watch this wood boy.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little clip. So that just kind of gives you an idea of like what I was doing when I was going around America. So obviously it was easier for me to use my small camera because I can attach it on a clip to my bag, and it's sort of just below my chin at about chest height. So when I'm walking around, generally when I've got things in my hand, you can sort of see them and you can get a good view. It's not the best camera, you know, it's not like 1080 HD or anything like the camera that I'm filming on now, but it's a lot easier to use. You can go around, just press record, do what I need to do without worrying. With a big camera, it's a little bit difficult to sort of walk around and film and, you know, what you're picking up. I did use the big camera at the Comic-Con, and you'll see that video in the future, and I did use it at the toy show, so you'll get a bit more clearer footage mixed with some footage from this as well. So as you can see in Toy De Jour, they had an array, a mix of different items. Now the problem is it was the first place I'd been to, so I wasn't going to start going and blasting all my cash, buying everything up before I'd even got to anywhere else. It was the first day that I was in America, so I had to kind of use my head and go, right, you know, gradually maybe buy a few little bits and pieces here and there. But I did manage to pick a couple of bits up. Now the first thing I picked up was this Toy Biz Venom. Now I've got loads of Venoms, I've got loads of Toy Biz Venoms, but this was a reasonable price, so I bought this to bring back to the UK. And this, I'll be selling this through Pizarro's Pieces, because obviously I am a dealer as well. I am not just a collector. So yeah, I bought this back, not for myself, but this will be coming to the next Comic-Con with me, or if anyone's interested, send me a message on social media. So I picked up that Venom. Now I picked up this guy. Unfortunately, this was the only item that I brought back from America that got damaged in transit. So when I came back a couple of days ago, the back of him had snapped, which is frustrating, but I've managed to glue it, and it is a display item. This guy's from Ultraman. I can't remember his name. I think he's in the Ultraman movie. He's marked 1990, so he's quite old, 27 years old. This was on their shelf. I think I paid $15 for this guy. And obviously, if you'd seen the previous video, you would have known that I picked up an Ultraman, roughly within size of this. So I thought that goes well. And as everyone knows, I love a bit of Kaiju, Godzilla, King Kong, Ultraman. So that was the first thing I picked up when I was over there with the Venom. And then the last thing I got was this Masters of the Universe collector's case. Now, this was one of the items that when I went over to America, I was going to try and get. Now, it is quite big, but it is inside. I can obviously put stuff inside. Now, this hasn't got the trays in it, so it's empty. But I've got it for display purposes. I just like, as usual with He-Man and Masters of the Universe, I always like the artwork on it. So I literally just bought this as to bring back and to display in my own collection. This cost me, I think it was $15. It might have been 20. But as I was going around the rest of America and the shops and everything, I see quite a lot of these pop up. The average price was about 25. You don't really see these that much in the UK, so for me, I wanted to get one, so I picked it up. It was a reasonable price for me. So that was literally my first day of being in Chicago. I went to the one shop, Toy De Jour, and the guy there, Sam, awesome fella. Sat there chatting to him for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, obviously telling him about what I was doing over there, you know, on a toy hunt and everything else. The prices in his shop were pretty reasonable. Now, in regards to the US and the toy pricing, so I think in the UK, a lot of us guys, dealers and collectors, we probably get the impression that the United States are very cheap when it comes to toys and vintage toys, etc. I think the last couple of years there's been a few things that have affected this. One at the minute is that the pound is not particularly good to the dollar, and it's dropped massively in sort of like the last 12 months. A lot of that's to do with Brexit. There's a mixture of things really, I think. So that's one reason why things probably ain't looking as cheap. Toys are not looking as cheap as what I generally would think they would be. Another thing is that, as a lot of you guys know who will be watching, if you're a dealer or a collector, the price of especially 80s toys has gone up through the roof. We all know that Star Wars has gone stupid. What I noticed in America was that Masters of the Universe, He-Man figures, everywhere I went pretty much were either the same as the UK or higher. There was some good prices, so you'd find loose figures complete for sort of $10, maybe $12 depending. Then there was other people on the other end of the spectrum who were selling loose figures for $35, $40. I see a loose Hordak with weapons at the toy show that someone was looking for $60. In my opinion, it's, you know, He-Man, most of the He-Man figures, obviously you're going to get the rarer ones like Faker, Squeeze and Scare, Glow. I believe Squeeze, I don't even think is that rare. I see a few Squeezes over there that were sort of $25, $30, $35. When I went to the toy show, I see a Squeeze that was someone was doing for $35 without a weapon. Then there was another stall who is a guy who I know for Instagram called Hive Toys. He had it for $15, which I think's quite a reasonable price for a Squeeze. That works out about, you know, £12, £11. But Squeeze over here generally goes for, without a weapon, you know, £15, £20. So I did find a lot of the toy prices were up and down. There wasn't any consistency, but I think we have that here in the UK. If you go to a toy show, you know, when I do Sandown, you'll see some people trying to sell a certain He-Man figure for £20, and then you'll go to another store and someone's got it for £40. So there's nothing different there. But the United States, the toy market, is not as cheap as what I think a lot of us believe in the UK, or what we perceive it to be. I think that I see a lot of people on Instagram who pick up really good stuff at flea markets and perhaps antique malls and you know, flea markets that are equivalent to our boot sales. So yeah, you will occasionally find someone will occasionally pick up, you know, a He-Man Scare Glow figure for $1 when we know it's worth £35 or whatever. But in the shops generally and at the shows, I did get some good deals, and you will see that over the coming videos. Some stuff was probably priced as it should have been, but a lot of the stuff that I was buying, I was buying because I have not seen it in the UK. There were some items that I bought that I've only seen in America, that you can get on eBay maybe, but they're going to cost you, I don't know, £30-40 to get shipped back here. So a lot of this stuff was in front of me at a reasonable price, and so I was buying it. But yeah, that's just a little insight into the upcoming videos in regards to the pricing structure in America. You know, Star Wars was, I wouldn't even look at it. I would not even look at Star Wars over there, to be honest with you. You're seeing some of my upcoming videos, some of the prices, especially at the toy show. There was some graded items, and it was crazy. But then the price of Star Wars over here was crazy. I'm talking about obviously the vintage stuff. But yeah, most of it was within reason within the UK. The only items I found that were cheaper than the UK, which is no surprise, I think, is generally like the superhero stuff. So like Marvel, DC, that sort of stuff seemed to be quite a lot cheaper, especially like Toy Biz items. They were very reasonably priced. But yeah, generally, overall, I think they're sort of around or on par with us. But I did get a lot of stuff. So yeah, you will see over the coming videos that I did purchase a lot of stuff. About 70% of what I bought is for myself, and then I bought a little bit to bring back. I bought some bits back for other people, and I bought some bits back to sell on. Yeah, so I am a dealer, but I went over there as a collector. But sometimes you switch off and you sort of put your business head on, go, oh well, I'll bring that back, I can sell that, I know someone that would want that, and you know, you bring it back and you can make a little bit of money. But yeah, so that was the first shop I went to in Chicago. So the next video I'm going to do is still in Chicago, and you'll see a few more shops, some of the other bits that I bought, and then I'll go on from there into Indianapolis and so on, Cincinnati. I've got plenty of footage from the last 2 weeks. So, you know, don't forget guys to please consider subscribing if you already ain't. Give the video a like, and if you're not already following me on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, if you're on any of them, you can find me under Pizarro's Pieces. Until the next video guys, I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you then.